Hello, welcome back to Moon Life Astro. And if you're new, welcome. My name is Darice, and I'm actually going to be changing up my format a little bit for this channel. I think I'm going to move to twice a week. So instead of doing 3 to 4, 10 to 15-minute videos each week, I will go ahead and do ideally longer form ones, at least 30 minutes. Ideally, we'll see how it goes. My intention is beginning this week, Wednesday, January 15th. I'm going to give you the astrology from now to the next Wednesday, so January 15th until January 22nd. And then on Mondays, I'm going to release one that's just strictly about a planning or productivity principle. I thought it might be helpful to have it be separate so that people could have a skill or a practice to play with, and that we could, check in with each other about how that's going. I'm not sure yet if it's going to be the same for the entire month. Currently, for January and my free membership, I have people focusing on creating a winding down routine. And so I'll talk about that more in next Monday's video. But before I get into all of that, I want to talk a little bit about just what's happening in the United States, the California wildfires. I know people who have lost everything. I know many people know people who have lost everything. And I want to just give us some time and space to acknowledge the grief around all of that, the rage. And that's definitely, of course, being heightened by Mars being in retrograde in Cancer. That's going to make those feelings more activated. We are coming off of a full moon in Cancer as well. So that will also have more of us in our feels. But I also wanted to talk about just what I keep thinking about. I used to live in California, both Southern and Northern California. So I'm heartbroken that, these places that I used to love to visit and travel through are gone. And then looking at the footage on television, seeing whole neighborhoods leveled to the ground. I can't imagine how surreal and traumatizing that is, to be walking, if you are able to go back to those neighborhoods and, see your neighbors' houses gone, your house gone, or even if your house is still standing, but others in your neighborhood on your block are gone. The stores you used to walk by are gone. The schools you used to walk or drive by are gone. And it isn't just losing your house and your stuff. I mean, for so many of us, where we live, our homes, what we fill our homes with, it's about how we see ourselves, our identities, how we want to be in the world, what we're aspiring to become. And in addition to that, it's your memories of all these times you've had with your family and your friends. People have lost pictures of their kids and their grandkids, their favorite moments with their spouses. And just thinking about the years of recovery that's going to take for people, the emotional and spiritual and physical toll that people are having. I'm thinking about how challenging it already was in Southern California, having such a high population of people who are housing insecure. Now that's going to be more intense. And, you have landlords hiking rents because they want to take advantage of all these traumatized people. I mean, the fact that we even have that happens in America is just heartbreaking. And I just think it's important to take the time to just sit with this, to feel it all, the rage, the grief, the loss. I mean, I feel like we need like a national day of mourning just so everyone can just be with all of this. And so I'm just inviting you, if you have the space and the bandwidth to take some time to just feel what you're feeling, because that's always the first step for healing, at least in my experience. That has been the case. And I did some of that myself this morning as I was reflecting on what I wanted to talk about with everyone today. Again, I'm offering prayers to everyone affected by the wildfires. I'll put links again in the description below for resources for people to be able to support others as they recover and heal. I'm also going to continue to ask us all to pray and visualize the fires being out, the fires being contained, praying for rain to pour down in California, to pour out those fires. I'm also going to ask that we pray for a miracle, that our society changes, that we are able to support people and have a functioning social safety net, so that when horrific things happen to people, that they have support and access to resources, and that it's not seen as a deficiency on their part, that people are not blamed for the traumas that happen to them, that we shift that dynamic in our consciousness. And there's a lot of reasons behind why we have that set up, especially in the last 30 years in America. And I'm not going to get into the politics or the policies around all of that right now, because frankly, I need to get through the day. And if I rile myself up over all of that, that won't do me any good or anyone else any good. I do think, though, that this tragedy, hopefully, it will spark a new level of community and community support for people, not only in California, but around the country. And that, yes, I'm inviting us to have a vision where people are supported, people are safe, people are loved, and that we are able to be taken care of when we need to be taken care of. So just wanted to put that out there. I know many of you who listen to me or are attracted to what I do are probably along a similar line of thinking. And again, just keep praying for everyone, that they get the healing they need, not only now, not only in the short term, but they have access to the resources that they're going to need to recover from this trauma, from now and through the next few years. Frankly, it's just devastating on so many levels, and I think it's okay to acknowledge that, and to not run away from the impact of the devastation. I do think that Mars in Cancer in retrograde is an invitation to meet the bigger emotional stuff, that is part of how we begin to heal. And collectively, this is an opportunity to heal the wounded masculine, how we express power and leadership. This is another way to think about, another opportunity to look at how you want to be a leader in your own life, in your own community, especially since we are in the sun season of Capricorn, which is all about learning how to dance with our own sense of inner authority, and how we can do that in a space that's compassionate, and to pray that our leaders also act with compassion as well. So just wanted to put all of that out there, get that all off of my chest first before I get into the astrology for what's coming up January 15th through January 22nd. And if you've made it this far, thank you for continuing to listen. And let's go into it. So now on January 15th, first of all, it's going to be Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. We are celebrating the holiday on the 20th, but his actual birthday is today, January 15th. And we also have the sun sextiling Mars on that day. But I want to first talk about Martin Luther King Jr. and just reflect on his legacy, his leadership, his courage, his determination. And these are all Mars qualities as well. I think about just the impact on my own life. I am a Gen X person. I got to go to integrated schools. I've worked in integrated offices, and many of the professional opportunities I have had as a direct result of Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy. So I want to acknowledge that, thank him for that, thank my ancestors who fought for that. And also, this is a good time to think about how we want to tap into our own sense of courage in the same way that Martin Luther King Jr. did. So how can you channel boldness and resilience into your own work, your own business, the things that you are a leader of? We also have a very powerful Mars opposition to the Sun on this same day, January 15th. Mars, again, is about our passion, our power, our desire to act. The Sun is how we see ourselves, our individuality. And when Mars opposes the Sun, there can sometimes be a tension between how you want to express yourself. It can become more heightened where you feel like you lack power, where you lack authority, or where you're angry, but you don't feel like you have a space to express that rage. Those things might come up for you on January 15th, or you may notice it in other people around you. Other people around you may be more activated. You may also notice things on the world stage. Who knows what's going to happen this week? And there can also be a potential for conflict between others. Also, look for internal conflicts within yourself. And a Mars opposition with the Sun can also lead to burnout, overworking. So, look at ways to manage that for yourself. And again, like I've been encouraging people, and I will continue to encourage people, especially for the first quarter of 2025. Stay on top of your self care, your self nurturing. Drink the water, get that regular exercise, whether it's walking or stretching. If you're not able to leave the house, but if you are able to leave the house, then definitely do that. Fresh air is really helpful. Even if all you can do is open a window, if you're in a place that's super cold for just a little bit, a little fresh air. And yeah, it's a great opportunity to use this intense energy also to tackle things that require courage, things that you have been having a desire to do, but you haven't felt like you're quite ready for. And this Mars opposition to the Sun, it might give you the energy, the power to actually do that, to take on something new, to do something in a different way. And again, it's an opportunity to ask yourself, am I leading with balanced energy, or am I letting my frustration and ego take over? So that is something to sit with. Now, what we have coming up on January 17th is we have the Sun sextiling Neptune. Now, Neptune can govern imagination, your ability to create a vision, but can also be a little bit about escapism, not being quite on the ground. But the Sun sextiling Neptune is actually supporting Neptune's energy. So this could be a good transit for looking at creativity, your longer term visions about what you want for your business, your communities. This is a great opportunity to take some time to really dream big. What is your intuition calling for you to do? What would be the next big thing if you were not afraid, if there were no limits? This could be an ideal time to fantasize and brainstorm about that. Like I said, brainstorm new projects while also reconnecting with your spiritual vision for your business. Sun sextiling Neptune is a great way to tap into that, the imagination, the what's possible. What if what I truly wanted is possible? To give yourself permission to think along those lines. Now, the next day, we have the Sun sextiling the North Node. And we also have Venus being opposite Saturn. Now, the North Node is kind of about what your soul is seeking, your soul's purpose. And then again, the Sun is supporting that as well. And I do think it's interesting that this is also going to be happening while Venus is also opposite Saturn. Venus, again, can represent your values, your money, your resources, how you see yourself. And also, Saturn can be about limits, restriction. So when there's a Venus opposite to Saturn, there can be this feeling of wanting to do everything and then this limit to, but I don't have the resources to do that. But since it's also happening at the same time that we have the sun sextiling the North Node, some of that gets a little bit mitigated. It's not as intense. So this could actually be an opportunity to really align your values with your purpose and your long-term vision. This might also be a good time to set up some networking meetings or start setting up potential collaborations that might open some doors for you. This might be a good time to reach out to potential mentors, see what suggestions they might have. And it's also a good time to take a good look at maybe some of your higher priorities for the week, for the month, and what needs to get done in, say, the next couple of weeks. This could be a good time to maybe reassess the prioritization of some of those tasks and goals. Now, the other piece with the Venus opposition to the Saturn, it might also bring up some challenges in relationships or finances. So be mindful of that. And again, just breathe, take a pause if something like that does come up for you. There may be some emotional or financial restraint that feels heavy. But it could also be an opportunity to reassess some of your financial priorities, some of the things you want to accomplish over the next 6 months. So it could be a good time to sit down and look at that. Look at what kind of partnerships or investments that you want to invest in. And now on the 19th, we have the sun entering Aquarius season, which is all about the people and groups and communities. And at that same day, we're going to have Mercury now sextiling Saturn. So Mercury is our thinking, how we process information, and it's going to be supporting Saturn. So you might have some breakthroughs around some of those planning of goals that you're in the process of. This could be really good, grounded, productive energy for planning and making some decisions about what you want to do next in your business, in your career. Maybe this is a good time to focus on creating some clear strategies and refining your Q1 2025 goals. The other thing about Aquarius is also about being innovative, doing things in a different way, and also focusing on the future. It does highlight this feeling of independence in community. I think that's one of the great paradoxes of Aquarius. I'm an Aquarius sun and I'm a very independent, but I also really need community and I thrive in community. And for me, the Aquarian energy is about playing with that dance of independence and interdependence. So look at ways and how you can do that differently in your communities at work, in your business, and also in your communities that you live in and in your family communities as well. Your friendship communities even, because it could be a good time to look at those things. And if you're looking at potentially new technologies or any kind of unconventional approaches to your business, the 19th could be a good day to set aside some time just to visualize what that might look like. And then after that, we have the sun squaring Saturn, Saturn conjunct Pluto, and Mercury squaring Chiron. That's all on the 21st. And don't worry, I'm going to break all of that down for you. I know that's a lot. Now, again, we have the sun squaring Saturn. And again, squares, they create tension. But what's great about squares is like that tension usually births something. So you need that tension in order to make things happen. Again, so we have the sun representing our identity, our sense of self, Saturn, limits, time, boundaries. But Saturn is great because you need boundaries in order to create something. You need a container in order to create something. I tend to think of Saturn as well, if we're using the energy in a higher exalted way, it can be a healthy father or paternal figure, the limits on how do you want to do this? If you want to get from point A to point B, you need to do XYZ. Like you don't have unlimited resources. And I think Saturn is a healthy parent that reminds us of that. So when you have the sun squaring Saturn, there could be obstacles or delays that arise, which could, of course, test your patience and your resolve. But I like to think of delays as divine delays. I believe that anything that delays me is for a positive reason, that either the project is not meant to go forward just yet. Maybe I'm missing a crucial piece of information. Maybe the person or people I'm supposed to partner with, they're not ready yet. And so I just like to think that the universe is always working for my highest possible good, and that obstacles are for a reason, or even if it's simply a delay in getting somewhere, getting to a certain place, like maybe you're trying to get to a certain meeting and there's like a traffic jam that holds you up. Well, maybe that traffic jam prevented you from being in a more serious relationship, excuse me, a more serious accident that might have happened. Um, or sometimes these delays happen because you are meant to meet someone and end up in a relationship with them. So maybe that was a Freudian slip on purpose. That just happened there for me. And what else do I want to talk about? Oh, the sun conjunct Pluto. Now, Pluto can be about power, transformation, but it can also delay things, or it can destroy as well. Pluto is very powerful. So now when the sun and Pluto come together, it'll be interesting to see if anything happens on the world stage too, around January 21st. We might see leadership change in an unexpected manner. It could be the propping up of someone you didn't expect to be propped up, or could be the tearing down of a leader that you didn't expect to prop up, especially following after a Mars opposition to the sun as well, a few days later. I wouldn't be surprised if something along those lines happen. But now, personally and professionally, in your own world, in your own life, how this might play out is there could be an opportunity for deep transformation and deep introspection. So the 21st might be a good day as well to set aside some time, even just 15, 20 minutes, to actually meditate on what you'd like to see unfold over the next like 15, 20 years while Pluto is in Aquarius. You could use that energy of the sun and Pluto coming together to kind of open you up to some ideas, like what are the things you really want to accomplish? Like what kind of legacy do you want to leave? That sun conjunct Pluto could be really powerful and helpful energy to help you look at it from that point of view. Or I had one spiritual teacher suggest looking at it this way, like imagine yourself, and not to be too morbid, but imagine you're like in your 80s, your 90s, you're 100, and you're on your deathbed and you're looking back at your life. What would you like to have seen as accomplishments, milestones? What kind of relationships will you wish you were celebrating or acknowledging as you're doing your own life review? The 21st, that sun conjunct Pluto, that could be a good day to take some time to do that. You can also use this opportunity to reflect on power dynamics in your life and in your personal life. So, where is there an imbalance of power? What needs to be addressed? What relationship contracts maybe need to be renegotiated? That's a possible use of this energy as well. And then we also have Mercury squaring Chiron. Mercury, again, our communication, how we process information, how we learn, is squaring Chiron, that wounded healer, that wound that we're always learning from, that's always spurring us on to develop or grow in a different level. When Mercury and Chiron create a square, there might be there might be potential for triggering conversations or miscommunication. So if something like that does arise for you around the 21st, stay open for how this is helping you transform, how this is helping you on your healing journey. And if anything like that does come up, it may be an invitation from the universe to say, this is a time for you to finally dig a little deeper into the shadow work. In effect, the 21st could be a very good day for doing some shadow work. but do it with compassion for yourself and anyone else if you're having conflicts with them. It could also be a great day for a therapy appointment. And if you're still looking for a therapist or new body work, this could be a good time to go ahead and, get that set up. And with that, I'm just going to go ahead and give you a sneak peek for next week. I'll talk more about this on in my video that's going to be put up for the 22nd. But on the 23rd, we're going to have Mars sextiling Uranus, which could be some really good supportive energy for breakthroughs, innovation. And we also have Mercury opposite Mars. So again, shake up, new breakthroughs in thinking, and Mercury trining Uranus as well. But like I said, we'll get into all of that next week. But in a nutshell, I know I covered a lot in this, and you can always revisit it, listen to it as many times as you need to understand it. If you have questions about anything, feel free to leave a question in the comments and I will answer. I will usually always respond to all the comments, especially if they're positive or just questions. If you did receive value from this, feel free to like this video. Please do subscribe. It does help me get the message out to other people. I do have a free community on the school platform, SKOOL. It's an opportunity to get together with other like-minded people where you can learn from one another, support each other as well. In the next couple of months, I'm going to be adding more things to that platform as well, because I really want to cultivate a community where people get to grow using astrology and planning and productivity tools, because again, I want to create a space where people are able to accomplish what they want to accomplish in their lifetimes and do it in a way that's easy and fun and graceful, and in a way where we're all supported. And at the end of the day, the universe is ultimately looking out for us. I do feel like we are never going to be given more than we can bear, no matter how horrible and devastating it is. Again, my heart is going out to everyone affected by the wildfires. I'm sending you all love and prayers and just miracles, praying for all kinds of miracles. And if you made it this far, thank you for hanging in there with me. Looking forward to supporting you all more in the future. And again, if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, feel free to drop those in the comments below. I'm sending you love, peace, and joy. Easefully yours, Darice.